Today, we're carrying out a full lawn renovation on this lawn. Now this is a sloping lawn and it's also on very sandy soil. Now the problem with sandy soils is it drains really fast, especially in the summer when it's hot. Any moisture, woof, straight through. And as a result of that, what you find is that these soils tend to dry out really fast, which means you end up with a browner lawn faster than other people. Now when you've also got a sloping lawn, it poses another problem because any water that we do get tends to run down the hill, especially if it's quite compacted. So what we're going to be doing is a full renovation. We're going to scarify the lawn first to get rid of any surface thatch in the lawn. Then we're going to aerate the lawn, which is punching holes in the ground, which will allow any water to come down the hill but go down the holes or soak in easier. And that is how we get a better lawn. So as you can see, we've got the top end. At the minute, we are in March and it's looking nice and green because we've had so much rain. Just goes to show, doesn't it? With plenty of rain, plenty of moisture, you can have a nice lawn. Even in summer, you've just got to keep on top of your watering. Or put some wetting agent on, something like my emerald green, available on my website. There you go, shameless plug. And we all like a shameless plug, don't we? So in the shade, we've got some moss. As we come further down the hill, we've got some more moss. So let's get started. Right, so what is the plan? Well, the plan was to get everything out first, and that's taken half an hour, which it always does. Right, so what we're going to do, we're going to give it a cut first. You want it pretty short, to be fair. When you're seeding, when we've done all of this, anyway, when you're doing a renovation and you're doing some seeding, you won't be mowing for 2 to 4 weeks at least afterwards. So you want to give it a really short cut. When you're just scarifying, that's not so much of an issue. As long as it's fairly short, 1.5, 2 inches at the most, you can still scarify if you take your time. So you want to give it a short cut if you're just scarifying. But if you're seeding, cut it as short as you can, scalp it. So I'm going to get this trimmer, I'm going to trim around the edges, then I'm going to get the mower, cut it short. Then we're going to move on to the next few steps, which I'm going to explain. Keep watching. Can I just say, Pebbles are lovely. They're lovely if you've got something separating them from the lawn, but even so, they end up in the grass. There. Well, always have a border, a decent sized border, and do your best to keep them out, because if you mower blade it's them, it's going to put a chunk in the mower blade and potentially it's going to fly up, especially when you trim, and smash your window. So, in a renovation, we renovate because lawns generally thin out at time, you get moss, you get all sorts of things happening, and this sort of don't look quite so good. So sometimes we have to put some seed down, and actually it's worth renovating every single year just to keep it nice and fresh, and you'll be amazed how good a lawn looks a month or two after it's been done. So you've got your grass seeds there, okay? Now for them to germinate, what we're looking at is for a little green shoot to come up and out of that seed. And the time it takes to do that varies. It varies on the temperature and the time of year, pretty much. So if it's nice and warm, if it's summer and you're getting plenty of water on, it can germinate in like 4 days at times. But in spring, you might be looking at 2, 3, sometimes 4 weeks, especially if it's shaded. So, grass seeds have got to touch soil to germinate. If you just throw them down on top of moss and thatch, nothing's going to happen apart from the birds are going to eat them and the wind's going to blow them, a lot of them, away. On a slope, if it gets heavy rain, they're going to get washed away. So we have to do the best that we can do. So what we want to do is get some of this rubbish out of the lawn, which is quite hard to see because for the untrained eye it just looks like grass and bits of brown stuff. But when you press on it, it feels quite firm. But an area with thatch feels quite spongy. So when you press on an area with moss, you can feel it's a little bit bouncier. And we need to get that out so we can just see some soil. How do we get it out? Now, you can use a rake or you can use a scarifier. Essentially, whether it's by hand or by a machine, you are doing that across the surface of the soil. And whatever is above the soil, you're teasing it out to the best of your ability. Now, there's no way of physically removing all of it in one go. What you're doing is thinning it out. So there's your soil, there's your layer of thatch and moss, and there's your blades of grass in between. They all compete for the same space. And moss is stronger in winter, so what happens is, especially in shaded areas, moss tends to take over and the grass tends to recede. So we need to rake and get out as much as we can, and then we've exposed the soil for the seeds. So I'm going to show you how I would do it. So you can buy a cheap springtine or springbok rake. This is metal, and there's a piece of metal across there which keeps them nice and rigid. And this is Bulldog brand, which is my preferred brand for no other reason as they last for years and years and years. And literally a bit of effort with this, you just drag it across and you see what's come out. That was one drag, and look what's come out. Now when you drag a few times, okay, we've done that. Now if you've only got a small lawn, you can certainly do it with one of these. It's just going to take you a while, but you can do it in sections. You can do 20 minutes, go and have a cup of tea and then come back. And more importantly, what we've done is we've exposed the soil. And we've created grooves in the soil. Now, this is what farmers do. They put grooves in and then they plant the seeds. So we've exposed soil there, as you can see, but not to the side of it. So we need to repeat this across the lawn. You can upgrade to a Scarifying Rake, which does essentially the same thing, but this is more powerful and it's more aggressive and makes your job a little bit faster. This is by Wolf Garten, and you're looking at about £25–30 for the handle. This is an ash handle, and then you've got lots of attachments that you can put on the end. You just release with this button. This is a Scarifying Rake attachment, and you actually get a 10-year warranty. So I'm just going to show you the difference. That's what's come out with the springbok. Let me show you. So that's done that and pulled that out. Now with this one, more will come out and faster. So there's literally twice as much what's come out, so it makes your job easier. Again, about £50 all in, £60, and probably £20, £25 for one of these. It's your choice. Now then, what you could do is upgrade to using a machine. Now there are a number of machines. You can go to Aldi, you can go to Screwfix and pick up a cheap basic scarifier, or what they call lawn rake, and wrongly they are calling them aerators when they're not. Okay? An aerator punches a hole in the ground. The cheap ones is where your tripod falls over. So the cheap ones will be electric, sometimes petrol, and it will go that way, and there'll be a little metal spoke like that, a little piece of hard metal, a little bit like this. This is like your cheap basic scarifying. So you can get an electric version of this. It's still better and it's still faster than doing it by hand. And over there about £60–70 in Aldi or Screwfix. You can get some slightly better ones as you go up in price. And then if you decide to go even better, you can upgrade to a machine like this, or even better. And these have blades which spin round, and they will take out a lot more, a lot faster. So it all comes down to your budget and choice, but it can all be done. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use my machine, and I'm going to go up or down and possibly across the lawn until we have created lots of soil grooves and thinned out the thatch. Let's crack on. Once you get a machine, you'll never go back because it's so much faster. This is the Still RL540, and we've got height adjustments there. And 1 is the lightest setting, so it only just scrapes the soil. I'm on 3 at the moment, which creates a slightly deeper. You can see the grooves. But you'll be amazed how much actually comes out and how much faster it is than using the rake. So to do it, you lift up, across, and lower the whole machine down. And now the blades are cutting into the soil, making sure the right hand wheels are not touching the bricks or the slabs. And see how much comes out and how much faster it is. Now you will get parts where the machine does not physically reach because the blades are within the wheels. So like round the edges here, and generally in little corners of the lawns and little tight areas. So you need to hand rake them however and whatever form of rake you're going to use. But generally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's okay, like that. So you just work your way around. As long as the soil is exposed, we're good to go.
Bit by bit, I am slowly waking to see what's real, to finally heal. How will I cope without your word? How will I cope without your heartbeat? How will I cope without your love? How will I cope?
So the customer's not actually got a bin, so I'm bagging them up, and he says he'll take them to their waste. So that's what I'm doing. I think they're back now actually. So I'm putting them into black bags so it's easier for them to put in the car. Just about. I like to make a mess of people's lawns.
Hopefully to be worth it.
Help me.
All right. So I've cut it and I've had a really heavy Scarify on it.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to aerate and seed it and all that.
Sam.
So I should be done by about 10 o'clock tonight, if that's okay.
Yeah, all right. Bro, a drink.
That'll be lovely, yes please. Coffee with milk and 1 sugar, please. Thank you. That's nice. That's nice when that happens, and a lot of customers do, but surprisingly a lot don't either. Now if you're only scarifying and aerating, you can do them in any order. You can aerate first and scarifying. It actually makes the job quicker and easier for clearing up. Now I've just had a walk round just to see if there's any sort of lumps of compost, and there isn't. There is compost? No. So I've just had a walk round, seeing if there's any sort of lumps of moss left in the lawn, and there isn't. There is pieces of moss, but there's plenty of soil grooves in there for the grass to get in. We've thinned it out. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to run over with the mower again, just to pick up any debris that's been left on the lawn, and then we can start with the aeration. Now on this lawn, because it's a sloping lawn, I want to do Scarify first and then aerate, because I want the holes to be nice and open. Plenty of protection there for the seeds. We don't want them blowing down the hill and fertilising in the bushes.